Everybody, it's me, Willow, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm here with another movie review for all of you guys today. I'm going to be breaking down my review of Song Sung Blue. This is the newest film from Craig Brewer. It stars Hugh Jackman and Kate Hudson in the leading roles, and it's about a duo called Lightning and Thunder who are kind of like a Neil Diamond interpreter experience duo. So they go and do performances of Neil Diamond covers and they kind of make it a whole big experience. I think this was kind of before that type of experience, immersive type of musical event was a thing. There was impersonators, but there was not interpreters, which is kind of like the difference in this film. So it's based off a true story. It's based off a documentary, which I had no idea it was based off a documentary until the very end when it said based off the documentary. So similar to The Smashing Machine, which came out earlier in the fall, it's also based off a documentary. After watching this film, I want to go and watch the documentary. I want to learn a little bit more about the real people. And unfortunately, I feel like I would maybe gain more from the documentary. I did think this film was fairly decent and I thought it was a very heartwarming film, very wholesome, great for family in all ages. I think this is going to be a perfect box office hit for the holiday season. I think a lot of families are going to be able to go catch it during like the Christmas time and New Year's Eve and all the other holidays. So I definitely think this one, and with like the music and the feel good nature of Neil Diamond's songs, definitely think this one's going to be a possible box office hit. There are some more deeper moments to this film, however. I would say the first like 45 minutes to an hour is more straightforward biopic musical. We have like our two characters, they come together and they meet each other, they create their duo, and then we like get to learn more about them and their passions as like musicians. We get to have them perform a couple times and they're like up and coming and they're starting to make strides in their career, and then it all kind of comes crashing down with this huge accident which I like came completely out of the blue for me, if I'm being honest. There was a girl sitting next to me and she got up to go to the bathroom, and she got up at the worst moment because it's literally was like just like a minute or two before this big accident happens in the film, and it like puts out Kate Hudson's character, and it's just like a crazy like inciting incident, and she comes back and her friend has to like fill her in on all of this like momentum life-changing stuff that's happened for all of our characters on screen. So do not get up at the halfway point if you have to go to the bathroom. If everything seems all happy and dandy, do not get up and go to the bathroom because you are about to miss one of the most pivotal parts of the film. So yes, I was very happy because this was actually the surprise Cineplex Monday premiere for December. They just started this like Monday surprise premieres in November. Last month it was Eternity, which I didn't go to because I was a little worried. They're like advertising this surprise movie. It's a couple weeks in advance before it's supposed to come out. It's just like a regular standard price ticket, but I was a little worried last month. I just didn't know like what type of films it would be. I actually wanted to see Eternity, so this month I snatched it up, and I'm just so glad that I did because it was Sung Sung Blue. And even though I would have much preferred to see like Marty Supreme, which is another Christmas Day release, I think it was amazing that I was able to get this one under my belt. And it's definitely, like I said, feel good with the music. I did have like a fun time. I'm not really a big Neil Diamond fan. I feel like I'm a little bit young for that. Of course, I know Sweet Caroline and a couple of his other more mainstream popular radio songs. But if you're a Neil Diamond heart, like hardcore fan, I think you're going to really appreciate this and like the musical aspects and just how Neil kind of like brings out the fans, like the joy, and how is kind of like a community when coming together, especially with Sweet Caroline and how we have to like I also really appreciate how they're kind of emphasizing that like Sweet Caroline is the go-to song for Neil Diamond, but Neil Diamond is much more than just Sweet Caroline. And I think that's really important to distinguish when talking about musicians, how a lot of the time we do just look at their mainstream popular radio hits, but that doesn't mean they don't have more depth to them as like a writer, performer, and a musician as a whole. And I think that's what we're really trying to communicate between Lightning and Thunder is that both of them are struggling with their own demons in their life. We have Hugh Jackman's Lightning, who is a recovering alcoholic. We meet him on his 20th sober birthday. And I think that is a very beautiful message showing how you can face a lot of demons in your life because it's also mentioned that he was in the Vietnam War, I believe, and that he suffered like a lot of post-traumatic stress from what he endured during the war. So showing that, he reached for the bottle but was able to become sober for 20 years. And even though Lightning faces many more struggles in the film, he never again reaches for the bottle. And I think that's a really beautiful story, very encouraging. And I think this whole film is personally about perseverance. And even though in trying times, in sad times, when you do want to just give up, when you think it would be easier to just like reach for the bottle, you stay strong and you persevere through those difficult times. And the same thing can be said for Kate Hudson's Thunder character. She's a very beautiful, vivacious, energetic character, meets Hugh Jackman, and they just kind of fall in love immediately. I think the romance is just so beautiful because, again, it's about perseverance. Even though both of them have trying times, they are able to come together and, just become even more powerful together. They're able to become more powerful as individuals, as parents, as performers. I really do love this like love story that's in this film. I feel like we often don't get to see just a genuine and beautiful love story like we do between Lightning and Thunder, and a lot of the hardships that we see in like the middle act of the film towards the end of the film is more leaning on Kate Hudson's character. But the fact that Lightning just stands by her through thick and thin, I think is so beautiful. Once again, I really do love this love story of being musicians and having the passion to go out there and put your, you know, courage on the line, even though maybe the audience out there isn't your demographic, you're going to go full force and give the audience an A+ performance even if they don't appreciate it. I think that's very true to artists and how they don't want to compromise their vision, what they have crafted for their fans or non-fans. So I really do like that, and how specifically Hugh Jackman's Lightning character is just so passionate about his craft and he doesn't want to give in just like an inch. Like he wants to show everybody he is serious and that he knows Neil Diamond's songs can bring solitude and joy to like hundreds and thousands of people. And I think that's really reflected in one of the scenes near the end of the film, the Solomon song, where they finally get to kind of all perform it at the very end of the film. And it's like this big bold musical number, and it's just like what we've been writing for, what these characters have been working and building towards this entire journey of for what we're building to over this like 2.5 hour course of a film. And I really do think it's again powerful. I really do love their chemistry. There was just one scene that I thought was just so real. I really like I feel like I've just seen so many movies nowadays with people with like the iPhone face, all the filler, and I was very like impressed that Kate Hudson and Hugh Jackman just look so real. Like they don't look like these made up movie stars. They just looked like people. We saw all of their like wrinkles and their gray hair, and like they don't look, super sexy, but they just look like real people, and I just really appreciated that. I think they both look amazing in the film, but they look like their age, and I just appreciated that we were able to see that, and it doesn't look so filtered, if that makes sense. I just feel like there's a lot of like movies out these days, and just the filler is just so common between both male and female actors these days, and I appreciate that we have a little bit more of a realistic look with Kate Hudson and Hugh Jackman in this film. There was also this one moment where they're kind of having more of like this romantic lovemaking scene, and they're like undressing, and Hugh Jackman takes off Kate Hudson's Spanx, and I just thought it was, again, very real, and she has like a normal body with a little bit of like cellulite, and like she just looks normal. She looks beautiful and strong and creative and like so in love in that scene. The chemistry is just beautiful, and I just thought that was like a very interesting scene to put in a film. I feel like we don't get that realism so often. So I wanted to point it out because I really like took note of it when I watched the scene. Along with the performances from Kate Hudson and Hugh Jackman, I would definitely say Kate Hudson is the standout. I think in the second half of the film, she definitely has some big, bold scenes, and she cries quite a bit in the film. I do think Hugh Jackman is a little bit like he has a lot of bold scenes, but his more like the scenes where he's hurting are more quiet. Like he doesn't speak out. He takes on a lot of pain as Lightning, trying to be this provider and trying to make everybody happy. And a lot of the time, he compromises his own vision to try and help the people around him. So I really do appreciate how Hugh Jackman's able to deliver that complex of a performance. Like he's very exuberant when he is in his passionate space of being a performer, but when he's hurting and he sees his family's hurting, he's much more quiet and dealing with that all by himself. I also think he has some very genuine and kind scenes with Ellie Anderson, who is the daughter of Kate Hudson's character. They end up kind of having like a blended family with her son, and then Lightning has a daughter of his own who's played by King Princess, by the way. It took me the whole film. I was like, I think that's King Princess, but like she kind of looked slightly off, so I wasn't sure. But then at the end with the credits, it was King Princess. So I was like, huh, interesting. But I really do love the scenes between Hugh and Ella. I think they are very beautiful father-daughter scenes, and to see a stepdad really, kind of step up for this father role and take care of both of these kids and his own kids and really blend all of them together to this very beautiful and happy blended family. It was like I was envious. I was like, I wish my blended family looked like that. It was just like almost unrealistic just how like easy it seemed for them. But I really do appreciate that. Again, like similar to the romance, I just feel like we don't see blended families like that too often. Happy families just come together, and the siblings get together and get along, and everything just seems perfect as if that's how the families were supposed to be originally. So I really do like that, and the romance between Hugh Jackman and Kate Hudson. I really do feel like those two things are underrated in this film, and I deeply appreciate them. I also appreciated the cinematography and saturation specifically. I wouldn't say there is anything super bold about the cinematography. It's just more how the film looks. I really love how bright and bold it is. I was never struggling to see anything in like a darker nighttime scene. Everything is just so clear. I can see everything perfectly. Everything's been lit properly. So A plus to you, Craig, and the crew for lighting everything and in the post as well. Like I love the color grading, the saturation. It really has this warm orange tone over it that I love. I really think it kind of reminds me of like the stage lights. Like there's a couple scenes where they are on stage and it's very warm with the saturation, and I love that. It reminds me of the stage lights, reminds me of the saturation of being up on the stage. I think their costumes are also so perfect, plays hand in hand with that colorization and the saturation because all of the colors of their costume are just so bold and sparkly. They're usually either a bright green or bright blue, bright red. So really do love those costumes as well. So pointing out those costumes, obviously they're kind of inspired by Neil Diamond's costumes and kind of that vibrant kind of like eccentric outfit of the 70s 80s, so I really do love that. So yeah, I think some of the crafts are quite good. I think the hair and makeup's fun as well. Like we got some wigs, they kind of change up a little bit, but I wouldn't say like this is like a standout film, if that makes sense. Like I don't think it goes above and beyond. I'd say it's a well-crafted film. The performances are pretty good, but it's not like 4 stars. I did not give this film a 4 stars. I personally had a really fun time with the film, thought it was very lighthearted despite the more serious moments. I did think it had a good message at the end of the day about perseverance and not reaching for the easy solution, pushing through and encouraging yourself, being brave, taking the hard step. You can do hard things. I think that's what this film is telling and saying to reach for your passion, and even in moments of terror, in moments of fear, lightning can strike twice, and you need to live your life. You can't just live your life in fear, live in a depression, because life is out there and you have to be able to live for the music, live for the fans, live for the passion and joy that you can get out of a Neil Diamond song. So I really enjoyed it. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5 stars. I did have more of a connection to it compared to some of the other musical biopics that have come out in the last couple of years, but I wouldn't say it's like amazing. Like, I would definitely say a 3. I gave it a 3.5 because I had a fun time. I came out feeling, oh, this is fun, though the ending does kind of leave you on a bit of a, I don't know, not necessarily like a sour note, but kind of, this is not necessarily how I thought the film was going to end. So, what do I think about Song Sung Blue and the award season? So, we have been getting some Golden Globe noms for Kate Hudson, and the Oscar shortlist just came out and it got cinematography. However, I do think that Song Sung Blue is probably dead in the waters. I really don't think Kate Hudson's going to get an Oscar nomination. Hugh Jackman has not been nominated in any of the prominent awards so far, and I just don't think this film is strong enough to get in the top 20 for Best Picture. Like, yeah, so I don't think this film is very strong for awards, unfortunately. I do think it's going to have obviously a couple small nominations, like we have for Golden Globes, but yeah, I don't know, maybe costumes. I do think costumes are pretty fun in this film, so who knows, maybe the costumes will pull through at the end of the day. I would be intrigued to see what happens with the costumes. I don't think cinematography, even though they made the short list, it's definitely not the strong top 5 that it could be for cinematography. I know a lot of people were kind of surprised and disappointed that this was able to squeeze in there for cinematography. So, yeah, I don't really think it's a big awards hit, unfortunately. I do have it in one of my awards season leagues that I'm in for fantasy film ball. So I added it like last minute for, I think it was our December draft picks. I like changed it out, swapped it out for, I think it was The Lost Bus. And maybe I should have kept The Lost Bus because I feel like that could possibly get an Oscar nomination for visual effects. I don't think it will, but it did make the short list. But this one will probably be better than Lost Bus for sure. I think it'll probably get a couple more nominations and it'll probably make more money at the box office than Lost Bus did, right? But yeah, I will be intrigued to see what happens on the 22nd with I'll be intrigued to see what happens on January 22nd with the Oscar nominations when they all come out. Obviously, I'll be interested to see what happens with Song Sung Blue and if it ends up just dying. Unfortunately, when being one of those movies that people have been hemming and hawing all season, just ends up being really nothing at the end of the day. But let me know you guys think about Song Sung Blue if you've had the chance to see it. I'd love to hear all your thoughts and opinions down below, so please leave a comment. I always try to get back to all the comments when I have the chance. And while you're at it, please hit the subscribe button and the post notification button so you don't miss out on any of my content. I am posting more frequently now that we're in the heat of awards season. I do put out frequently movie reviews, kind of relating to the awards season, also awards predictions and reactions and breakdowns to the nominations. I will be coming out with a video for the Oscar nominations around the 22nd of January, so keep your eyes out for that. While you're at it, make sure you check out all my other social medias as well. I'm on Letterboxd, the awards expert app. I'm on TikTok, Instagram, all at Willow D Steele, so really easy to find me. Go give me some love on those social media platforms. All this engagement really does help my channel and my platforms to grow and give me more opportunity to film videos for all of you guys. So thank you so much for the engagement, as it really helps to push me out to other people who love cinema and help grow our community here on my channel. So thank you guys so much for the support. I'm really looking forward to the rest of the award season as we get into the middle of December and the new year is beyond the yonder. So yeah, let me know what you guys think of Song Sung Blue down below. And again, please hit that subscribe button. I am so grateful for all of you guys here supporting me. Thank you guys so much. And until next time, keep getting lost in film. Bye.